Hey everybody, this is Lorelia and I am doing a live stream tonight. I want to show you a few things in regard to why it's so important to have knowledge when it comes to this game called credit, rebuilding credit, restoring your credit, whatever you want to call it. And so I did a video some time back talking about um, what I believe are some major changes that are going to come forward in regards to how credit bureaus start to report information on the credit report. So if you are looking on the screen, this is a sample report. A lot of information have been taken away due to privacy. This is a real report from a client of mine, and something that I want to point out is understanding your rights when it comes to your credit. If you look um, right here where it says a personal statement, let me share this with you. A client of mine she had did some work before she had decided to come to me. And before she came to me, turn it off. Turn it off. I'm in the middle of a live. I know y'all see me. I got a game going on. So turn it off. Um, so where was I at? Where was I at? So basically the client of mine um did some disputing, and with the disputing, um a personal statement was made. Now, if you're wondering how these personal statements get here, basically what happens is, if you've ever looked on a credit report, and it always says that if you don't agree with the results that you've gotten, that you could put 100-word statement together. So what happened was that Equifax took a dispute that she made and turned the dispute into a personal statement. And so, um, that is what I'm showing you all. That little things like this are some tactics that credit bureaus do, um, you know, when it comes to your credit. And that's why it's so important to know how this all works. Now, another thing that I want to discuss, because this live is not going to be long, I get a lot of questions where a lot of people ask me about, Lorelia, should I get an attorney? Do I need an attorney? Um, and and my thing is this, I'm not one to say if you need an attorney or if you don't need one. Um, but what I will say is that, um, what was the point that I was making in regards to an attorney? Um, um, Depending on where you are at with your journey when it comes to credit. Now, no other credit professional may not tell you this, but there are some things in, when you're in your journey and in your process, that you're going to need an attorney. And no credit professional, I don't care how many years they've been in the industry, I don't care how long they've been doing it. Um, if you are at a certain point where you may be sued, or because I get a lot of people who will say, Lorelia, I just recently I just recently got a notice from the courts, and they want me to go to court, and I have to go there next week. Is there something that I can do to stop the process? And I always tell people, if you're already at the point where you are being summoned to go to court, whether it's from a debt collector, a lot of times that's where it's from. It's from a debt collector. It's not the original creditor. Um, at that point, there's no quick fix. There's nothing that no credit professional can tell you to say, this is what I'm going to do to just stop the process. Because what happens is that even if that's the case, it's a fine line, because that credit professional is now acting as an attorney. And that's why I always say, I'm never going to put myself in that situation to act as an attorney. So that's why when people ask me, Lorelia, do I need an attorney? That decision is always up to that individual. It's always up to that individual. But what I will say is that depending on where you're at with your journey, depending on where you're at your journey, because see, a lot of people who watch my videos are either individuals who want to learn how to do it themselves, um, or um, they're just interested in gaining the knowledge to empower themselves financially, even though they may decide to hire someone for assistance to assist them with their credit. So, with that being said, understand that no credit professional can act as an attorney. So, that's why I always tell people, if you've gotten a court notice and you have to be at court tomorrow, next week, the end of the week, 2 days from now, go get an attorney. Go get an attorney, because there's nothing that I can tell you that can stop the process of what's going to happen to you. Yes, a lot of times the reason why these debt collectors are sending you the court is because they want to have the authority to be able to levy anything that you have. And I know tonight I can't pull it up because I don't have it in front of me, but I know in the last live, I put up a sample of a bank levy that was put on my bank account in 1999 from a debt collector. That the reason why that happened is because a debt collector went to court, and I ignored the notices, so I did not show up in court. Now, is there something that could have been done to stop the process? Yes, yes. And now that I have the knowledge, I know that if it was to happen to me again, I would know what to do. But a lot of times people come to me and say, "Well, Lorelia, what should I do?" And that's where that I can't go no further with, because whether it's me or any credit professional, at that point they're acting as an attorney. Now you may say, "Well, Lorelia, what's the difference with getting this information, getting knowledge, understanding credit, and when you are faced with a particular circumstance, you're not able to leverage the knowledge you have?" Keep in mind, you have to know where you're at. Many times when an attorney is needed, could be the case of, like I said, if you're at the beginning of your journey, just learning how this works, and you have to be to court next week, there's no amount of knowledge that you're going to get to be able to help you. You're just not going to. So that's why you have to lean on an attorney who has the authority to do some things. So with that being said, um, with that being said, another reason why you may need an attorney. A lot of times people come to me and say, "Well, Lorelia, my my payroll at my job is being garnished. You know, how can I release the garnishment from my paycheck. An attorney can do that, you know. An attorney, would help you with that. And that's where you get into the area of, many people will ask, well, do I have to file bankruptcy? It's a good chance you may have to. There's a good chance you may have to. Now, keep in mind, none of this advice that I'm giving you is for me is me acting as an attorney, but it's things that people need to know because a lot of people that reach out to me are looking for a shortcut. And knowledge is great, but there are times when you do need to lean on the expertise of an attorney. It is what it is. Especially when you get into those areas of releasing garnishments, um, maybe maybe you have title to a car, and and who knows, debt collector has been rewarded a judgment. They're trying to gain access to the title of your car to be able to pay off a debt, whatever the case may be. That's when an attorney is needed. So I'm just touching on those two things tonight. um Still trying to work out the things with this new way of how I'm trying to stream on YouTube. So unfortunately I can never see any comments that if anyone is making any. But what I will say is this, we are into the second month of the year. And I did a video beginning of the year saying that I believe it's Tony Robbins, the personal development guru, who said that within 15 days of the new year, those individuals who have made resolutions, you know, some of the most common resolutions, getting rid of debt, increasing your credit score, is always one. By the 15th of the month, which was the 15th of January, those individuals have now decided, no, that's all right. You know what? They go on, you know, with their lives. How do I know? Because there have been people who've reached out to me and say, yes, Lorelia, the day, this is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. And by the middle of the month, I'm going to be ready to do something. I've even had some people who are now saying, hey, I'm waiting to get my tax refund, before I do something. And you know what, like I said, I can't take anything away from that video because that is true. It's true with what he said. Individuals who make these commitments in the beginning of the year, this is going to be my year. I am going to rebuild my credit. I'm going to restore my credit. I'm going to get rid of debt. I'm going to be able to build wealth for my family with the second month of the year. And many of those people have now moved on to other endeavors, and you're going to repeat the same thing. And that's why I've told people, if you have struggled with your credit in 2017, what are you doing different in 2018? I did a video early part of this year. It said, hey, you talking about you want to be debt free, you're going to be able to clear some debts up. What are you doing? What is your plan? I said in a Facebook group that I have, where I put that out there saying, what are you going to do? And I had a lady who responded and said, she's going to pray and this, that, and the other. Hey, nothing wrong with prayer. I'm a Christian. I believe prayer is possible, but you have to have some action. You got to have some action behind it. So what are you doing? Now, before I end this video, a lot of you all reach out to me and you say, Lorelia, can you look at my credit report? I have a few questions, about my credit. And this is it. I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be going up right now. I'm offering a credit analysis. Now, how does this work? Basically, I'm looking at all three of your credit reports, and I'm able to talk to you for 45 minutes and give you an analysis and an audit of your credit report. Now, many people may say, well, why do why do I have to pay? And this is what I tell people. Imagine you going to the doctor, telling the doctor something is wrong with you, and he doesn't look at you, he doesn't examine you, and he says, well, based on what you're telling me, I'm not going to see you. You stay home, call me over the phone, and I'll prescribe to you what I think is wrong with you. Many people who are reaching out to me, they want me to give them advice on unseen information. I haven't seen no credit report. um, Individuals are just telling me stuff, and I tell people that is going to hurt you more than it will help you. Many people feel like, oh, because a lot of times just it's not just one thing. I recently had somebody who commented on my video, and said that, oh, my credit score is lower because of this. And what the person was referring to, I know that's not it. A lot of times people think it's just one thing. And speaking of that, I'm going to touch on that, since it just came up to my mind, because it just it wasn't something I was going to talk about. But recently, and I should just do a separate video for it, but I'll touch on it now. And it's the power of credit utilizations. And I think I'm going to do another video on it, showing you why it's so important to keep your utilizations low. The utilizations make up 30% of your score. What is utilizations? It's how much of your credit are you using. So if you have $1,000 credit limit, are you all the way up to $998 of it? And so the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of times when people come to me and they're getting results, items are being removed. And for example, imagine a credit report. That's why I said I wish I had it in front of me because I would show it. But imagine a credit report where you have public record items along with credit cards that they are being paid on time, but the utilizations are high. So a lot of times, even though those items are removed, those public record items, whether it's tax liens, judgments, bankruptcies, a lot of times there's no big impact to the score. And the reason why is because the utilizations are high. See, there's other stuff that make up your credit report. And another thing is that if a person is in that place where they do have a mixture of public record items along with high credit utilizations, they think that the reason why their score is so bad is because of the public record items. But let me share this with you. The reason why utilizations play a much bigger game, um and really, and I'm going to even throw this in the bag, and the information that debt collectors report, where they're hitting you with 30-day lates every month, that will weigh heavier than you having a public record item. Because whenever that item hits your credit report, whether it's a bankruptcy, tax lien, or what have you, when it hits, the first month it hits, yes, you get hit. Your score may go down 100 points, 75, or what have you. But the next month, it's not continually hitting. So it's not like in month 2 you get hit again, for that same public record item. Now, if you get another one, that's different. But that public record item is not continuously. It's not continuously hitting your report. But what's continuously hitting your report is those debt collectors that are constantly saying, you're 30 days late, you're 30 days late, you're 30 days late, you're 30 days late. And then on top of that, you have current credit cards that you are paying on time, and the utilizations are all the way to the max. That's why I said, people, it's a combination of things. And that's why I do the credit analysis, so I can look at it. Because if you don't have a trained eye, you're going to think it's one thing, then want to send me an email wanting me to give you an answer on something sight unseen. And that's unfair. I would be very leery, and whether it's me or anybody, but be very leery of people who will freely tell you this is what's wrong with your credit report without even looking at it. you know, no, it's not possible. It's not possible. Now, yeah, could somebody give you advice? Yeah, but it's probably not. It's not going to be advice that could help you. It's probably going to more so harm you. And so many times, I've seen that. That's why I always tell people, um, take everything. You know, be very cautious of how you apply information that I provide or anyone else, because even though I share a lot of good information, here on YouTube, um it's really only related to a certain situation. And what happens is that people try to put their situation in that, try to mirror the two, and think that, okay, this information will fit my situation. And that's why I said that's the problem people have, especially in this age of social media. YouTube advice is so freely now. It's a good thing, but then it could be a bad thing, because now you're getting advice and information from a whole bunch of people, whole bunch of people. And then what happens is that all that, I'm not here to say some advice is bad, some advice is good, but I can only tell you what works that I've did. I can't tell you what works the way other people do it. And a lot of times people will come to me and try to ask me, well, I don't know. That's not my job to try to figure out why a person did this strategy, why they do it this way. I don't get caught up. I don't, that's not the game I'm playing. The game that I'm playing is to provide real advice, real results, not theory, real stuff. That is why if I go back to this credit report, um, this is a real report, dated back October 29th, 2017. I'm not just shooting theory. A lot of people here, in this space of credit, they're telling you a lot of theory. A lot of them may have not even seen a credit report. Just because someone has been successful with doing their own credit does not mean they're going to be successful for helping you, especially if it's a person who said, hey, I had bad credit 10 years ago, and I was able to rebuild my credit. I'm going to tell you right now, you haven't seen bad credit in 10 years. Don't get me wrong, that's very admirable for that person. Very admirable, meaning that person had bad credit and they were able to come back from it. But when a person is not looking at credit reports on a daily basis, not seeing the little tactics, the credit reports you see right in the back of me is the tactics that they're doing, taking a dispute and putting it as a personal statement. This is something that I didn't see 10 years ago, but I'm seeing it now. So it's a lot of little nuances that, that go on now, and that I believe are going to continue to go on, that didn't happen before. So be very careful when individuals are saying, only talking from a place of theory, not giving real examples, not giving real results, and then saying, what they did for themselves. But, how do you know it's going to work for you? That's all I'm saying. I'm not speaking from a place of theory. I'm speaking from a place of real results. It's real easy now in this day and age of YouTube, social media, to get somebody's information, rehash it, make it sound like, that they're doing it. I show you real testimonials, real results of information being deleted. I don't really even show half of the stuff I could, because I just, I'll be honest with you. I got to take off the information. Like, and that takes time. I got to get the report. I got to make sure all the privacy information is off, and none of the person's information is shown on the report. And a lot of times I just don't, have time to do it. But I want to do more of it because it allows me to separate myself from the masses, because like I said, we live now in a space where a lot of people are just rehashing information, but there's no testimonials, there are no success stories, there's no real case studies of work that they're doing. It's just this is what I did for myself. And like I said, it's very admirable. If a person has did it for themselves, there's a lot of people who've said, I've been able to do this by watching some videos that you have on YouTube. That's really great. But be very cautious of individuals who have did it for themselves and then say, oh, hey, I can go out there and, want to make money from it. So that's all that I have for tonight. Like I said, if you are interested in that credit analysis for $99, the link will be below this video. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Okay, good night.